I was just talking about y'all on a hayride the other day. I played a hayride full of little kids, and I said that, and it was all this excitement. I'm used to singing for old people, so that was nice. See, so that means I think about y'all just as much as you think about me. But before I testify, Pan Rush said Lord's coming back, and it's true. And I'll tell you what, he's coming as a thief in the night. He ain't coming, he ain't gonna give you a phone call day 14, get ready guys, I'll be at 12 o'clock tomorrow. So if that's what y'all's thinking, you just wait for that phone call and I won't see y'all in the rapture. Alright? But it's the truth, and I had a lot of stuff going on that, at the church I go to, and there's things that I don't believe for and I don't stand for. And if you're led by the Spirit of God, you know what's right. If you're going by saying you're going by the Spirit of God and going by what the world wants, you're going to hell just as fast as the sinner sitting beside you. It's the truth. Everybody needs to be in one mind and one accord. If Bruce is thinking about how to beat Johnny D in chicken picking, and Sister Betty's thinking how pretty I am, we ain't in one mind, one accord. It's the truth. You want the Spirit of God in here, you keep it one mind and one accord.
Sit down, man. Hey! I can't help myself.
But I like to thank the Lord. I've had a rough couple weeks. I was went to work one morning and I had a ride with my girlfriend's mom, so that was rough enough on the way there. So I get there, and once I get there, I don't feel good, get sick, so I had to come home. And once I got home, I was going back to work. I got home and decided I was hungry, so I was going to McDonald's. So I was like, I get there a little later, they ain't going to worry about it. So I head over to McDonald's. Well, I forget I was going to McDonald's and was in the wrong lane. Well, while I was in that lane, I had an 85 Chevy Scottsdale pickup, so it was built like a Sherman tank, just with that big shooting thing off the front of it. And so I was sitting at the red light, had my arm out the window, and I looked up in my rearview mirror, and there was a car coming extremely fast. And by the time I pulled my arm in the window, the car hit me. And he hit me at about 70 miles an hour. And he was in a little Mazda pickup, and I had more of his truck in the back of mine than he had on the front of his. Needless to say, he hit me, and when he hit me, I ended up hitting a completely loaded Peterbilt in front of me. And when I hit that, he was behind the stop line. I hit him so hard that he moved up past the stop line, and the stop line was behind the cab of his truck. My head went through the back windshield, my seatbelt broke, and I hit the front windshield with my head again. And at the same time, I don't know what happened, but gas came through the air vents and covered me in gas. So I tell you what, I'm not going to sit there and burn. That ain't going to happen. So I decided to climb out the window because both doors were shut. So I climbed out the window, but I'm too nice of a guy. The man hit me 8 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, so it wasn't like he was recovering from Saturday. Drunk, 8 o'clock in the morning, and texted on his cell phone when he hit me. He got out the vehicle and told me he was texting. I told him, don't worry about it, it's no problem. If the man told me he was drunk, I would have said the same thing, because things happen for a reason. I know a lot of people, they'll lock up their car, they'll lock up their house. Well, I will leave the keys in the ignition, the windows down, and go inside of Walmart for 2 hours. If they want it, they can have it. I don't need it as bad as they do. That's the way you got to think. If you worry about everything like that, your mind ain't on the Lord as much as it should be. And that's the way I feel, and I just hope other people kind of get that way. And if not, I'm just special. I don't know what it is. But I'm going to do this song here. I didn't plan on it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because we got all this talking about being saved and the Lord's coming, so I just thought this worked out pretty good. There are some people who say we cannot tell whether we are saved or whether all is well. They say we only can hope and trust that it is so. But I was there when it happened, so I guess I ought to know. I was there when Jesus saved me, saved my soul. The moment He forgave me, made me whole. Took away my heavy burdens, gave me peace within. Satan can't make me doubt it. It's real when I'm gonna shout it. I was there when it happened, so I guess I ought to know. I was there when Jesus saved me, saved my soul. The moment He forgave me, made me whole. Took away my heavy burdens, gave me peace within. Satan can't make me doubt it. It's real when I'm gonna shout it. I was there when it happened, so I guess I ought to know. I don't care who tells me salvation is not real. Though the world may argue that we cannot feel, the heavy burdens are lifted and the bowels and go. But I was there when it happened, so I guess I ought to know. I was there when Jesus saved me, saved my soul. The moment He forgave me, made me whole. Took away my heavy burdens, gave me peace within. Satan can't make me doubt it. It's real when I'm gonna shout it. I was there when it happened, so I guess I ought to know. That's bad when you talk so much your mouth is dry before you start singing. Oh, that's terrible. I felt like a woman just then. See, I'm allowed to say that because every old woman in here loves me. And see, look, this is the problem. Every one of them old women's family hates me because I could get in the well faster than they could. I'm telling you. I could own a nursing home quick. Alright. See, I have a lot of time on my hands, guys. I'm telling you. Alright, guys, I was asked to do this one pretty much as soon as it got here, and it was pretty much the only one that planned on doing. Well, you know, that's bad when you show up singing somewhere, you only have one song you think about doing. I'm telling you, that's professional, guys. Look at that. I'm thirsty again, guys. Alright, let's try this now. People steal, they cheat and lie for wealth and what it will buy. But don't they know on the judgment day that gold and silver will melt away? I'd rather be in a deep dark grave and to know that my poor soul was saved than to live in this world in a house of gold and deny my God and lose my soul. What good is gold and silver too if your heart's not pure and true? Now sinner, hear what I have to say. Fall on your knees and start to pray. I'd rather be in a deep dark grave and to know that my poor soul is saved than to live in this world in a house of gold and deny my God and lose my soul. My Jesus died on Calvary. He paid the cost that was charged to me. And if silver and gold I never own, thank God one day I'll have a golden home. I'd rather be in a deep dark grave and to know that my poor soul was saved than to live in this world in a house of gold and deny my God and lose my soul. My Jesus died on Calvary. He paid the cost that was charged to me. And if silver and gold I never own, thank God one day I'll have a golden home. I'd rather be in a deep dark grave and to know that my poor soul is saved than to live in this world in a house of gold and deny my God and lose my soul. And deny my God and lose my soul. That's one song I love because I've played a lot of places, and I always told everybody I'd play country music and bluegrass all you want, and you give me all the money you want to do it. But when it comes to gospel music, I won't take a dime for it. And I've had people get on me. You need to take some money. I said, you know, over 2,000 years ago, Jesus died on the cross for me. He didn't ask me. I didn't ask him to do it. He didn't ask him to do it. He did it all because he loved us. So I play gospel music and let everybody know how great he is for free. You know? You know, I've had 35 surgeries, and I'm going to take as much time. Remember, God doesn't have a time.
That's right, go ahead.
35 surgeries has ended me up with this. It's ended me up with a scar that big and a battery pack right there for pain. And I still walk around with 100% pain all day long. I could take a full bottle of pain medicine and still walk around and hurt just as much. And I don't feel worthy to ask the Lord for help because He's kept me walking for 18 years. I should have been 4 foot tall, and I should have been in a wheelchair, paralyzed from the neck down. And the Lord kept me that way, kept me like this for a reason. He let me look up in that truck before I got hit, because if not, it would have cut my arm completely off. He let me look up.
Yeah, that's right.
The Lord does things for a reason.
Say it, Coda, say it.
You know, I've done a lot of stupid things. I really have. I tell you what, I've done everything that most 20-year-olds have done through their college days from the age of 13 to 16. I did all that. And I tell you what, anything I've done's never been better than what I've got with God. Nothing. No matter what is said, there's nothing better than God. I can tell you that right now. I was in love with that 85 Chevrolet pickup. But if somebody said I'll give you a ticket to go to heaven today, I would have gave them that truck.
That's right.
There ain't nothing worth not going to heaven over. I'm telling you right now, whether it's money, well, I don't care what it is. If you're holding that and idolizing like that, and you don't want to go to heaven as bad as I do. That's the reason I have no worries. I don't worry about anything. If it gets took, it gets took. If something happens to it, so be it. Yep, that's the way it is. You know, you got, what are we saying? Leave it to Him, right?
Yep.
That's what you're supposed to do. He didn't say bring it to the altar, drop it down, we'll work on it a minute, and you can take it back with you. Matter of fact, before I sing this last song, I do have one little story. You guys will appreciate this one. I went to Six Flags with my girlfriend about 2-3 weeks ago. And we stayed at her uncle's, and her uncle, he just had started going to church, I'd say, since his heart attack, so probably since like December. He asked me if I'd go to church with him, and I said, yeah, we'll go. We went in there, and I ain't never been to a church like this before. I mean, yeah, I know Catholic churches stuff. When they do communion, they give wine, you know, that's their business. But, you know, I also know the passage of communion, you know what I mean? If you're not right with God, you're not supposed to take communion. Well, in this church here, went in there, and a woman asked me, and everybody was getting up for communion. I mean, I go to a church, we got like 30-some people, and this church, you know, had 100, 120. And, you know, the woman finally gets over to me, and they got people keep going up for communion. And every time he'd fill his cup up with wine, come up and give everybody a little sip, and after every little section, he'd down it all. Well, 120-some people, he's taking like 20 people up at a time. That's going to take a while. Alright? Finally got to me, and that woman said, you going up for communion? I said, no ma'am. I said, I'm not agreeing with what y'all doing. Well, pastor said everybody's doing communion. I said, I ain't doing nothing with you crazy people. I walked out the door. Well, I walked out the door, and I sat up on a hill waiting for my girlfriend and her uncle to come out, and I could see in there. And, yeah, I tell you, he won everybody, man. By the end of the service, this man is... Is that the type of shepherd you want to guide your flock?
No.
That's not the shepherd I want to guide me.
Amen.
The Lord gives you common sense for a reason. You know, if something don't feel right, you don't do it. And if it comes to something feels wrong in the Lord, you definitely don't do it.
Amen, Coda.
Plain and simple. All right, now I need to shut up now. I'm doing it again. All right. Go ahead here. I forgot, but here we go. I want to do this one just because I like it. We were talking about old hymns, so... I don't know what it is, man. I took some estrogen pills today or something. Doing some talking.
Yeah, wild, Coda.
Living below in this old sinful world, hardly a comfort can afford. Striving alone to face temptation sore. Where could I go but to my Lord? Where could I go? Oh, where could I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul, needing a friend save me in the end. Where could I go but to my Lord? Neighbors are kind, I love them, everyone. We get along in the sweet accord. But when my soul needs manna from above, where could I go but to my Lord? Where could I go? Where could I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul. Needed a friend to save me in the end. Where could I go but to my Lord? Life here is grand with friends I love so dear. Comfort I get from God's own word. Yet when I face the chilling hand of death, where could I go but to my Lord? Where could I go? Where could I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul. Needing a friend to save me in the end. Where could I go but to my Lord? Where could I go? Where could I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul. Needing a friend to save me in the end. Where could I go but to my Lord? Thank you guys very much. I'm physically exhausted now, so I'm ready to sit down. And I want to say one other thing. We've been talking about Forrest Gump all night. I've got a Bubba Gump shrimp hat on. I went there when we went to Six Flags. I went up there, and I tell you what, I've never been so happy in my life. I tell you, I was sitting in there and we did some Forrest Gump trivia. And the first thing she did, she goes, whenever you answer, I want you to answer it's something to do with Forrest Gump. And the first question she asked, I went, Bubba! And that was the end of it. Like you said, that's all I got to say about that.